Welcome. Welcome to my home. Now, as per your request, people was like, I wanted to come here to talk boxing, man. You ain't been doing right by us by boxing. No fights are happening right now, but I want to talk boxing, man. You ain't talk boxing in the lane. Nothing's going on really with boxing right now. But they want to hear boxing, all right? You want to hear boxing, man. You want to hear some MMA, and I want to hear it now, man. I've been there. I've been down with you since day one, man. Day one, man. I came in with the boxing, man. I rolled with you all these years. Want to hear some boxing, man. Let's get into some boxing. You know what I said? I said, all right, let's talk boxing then. You want to talk MMA? Let's talk MMA then. See if they show up. They're going to be like, I was asleep, see though? See, you always sleeping. You're never ready. Forever petty. My mind's thinking longevity until I'm 70. Shouts out to those who donated to the Cash App. Much love to them. Got my radon kit. Test for radiation in the place. Got my microband. 24 hours. They protect everything for 24 hours. Got that. You said, do I think Jon Jones has been cheating his entire career? Absolutely not. Jon Jones is a freak of nature, but it's the UFC. The UFC is not so talent driven when you go up into higher weights. Who has he really fought that was kind of exceptional? I mean, I give him credit. He beat, like, I think they beat Shogun, who most of these guys who went up in weight that he fought were guys who their best was at the lighter weights. They were just really moving up for the money. Oh, Dana's Fight Island that came to a crashing halt and realized he had to call the event. Something that I said from the 21 Jump Street of how stupid he was for even trying to attempt to do it on April 18th when the whole world is going down. See, everybody wants to be fast and want to be first instead of being right. This dummy just wanted to be out there. We're gonna do fights. Yep, we're gonna do fights continuously every week. The UFC will be back April 18th. Yep. Not thinking about the fighters, not thinking about the lawsuits that's going to come if those guys test positive, like my video said prior. Not thinking of all of these things that could throw the company into a complete spiral out of control disaster to they filing for bankruptcy. That thing can go left. All it takes is one person to get sick, two people to get sick, 3 people to get sick. Now it's Dana White put everybody's life in jeopardy. $60 million lawsuit, $3 million lawsuit, $40 million lawsuit. Now they got a lawsuit. Now the people who put some money into the event, sponsors, they want their money back. No, because he didn't think it. Not all the fighters wanted it. That's not true. A lot of them don't feel safe, and they have reason to be, because you seeing a guy who's thinking dollars rather than thinking about people's health. The WWE was up and running with no fans around. They're not a sport; they're sports entertainment. But they had to go to another event, make it smaller, and they lost their shirt basically on that WrestleMania. But I guess they made some money, so hey, it is what it is. No, to the end of April at least. The least they're looking at is the end of April. They just want it to be hot enough so this thing would dilute down and kind of fade on out. Now, one of your top questions everybody's been talking about is, let's talk about Errol Spence. Errol Spence said he had stopped Terrence Crawford. So that's what y'all wanted to hear about. Okay. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. How do I see that playing out? Very simple. Terrence Crawford would beat the living hell out of Errol Spence. Everyone will blame the accident, but I was the one saying before the accident, he had no chance. He's too flat-footed. He would have came in and tried to make it a rugged fight, because that's what he's really used to.
That's rigged as well.
Oh, I'm glad it's rigged. Spence has been spoon-fed a bunch of C-rated fighters. And when you spoon-fed a bunch of C-rated fighters and no variation to the styles, we're able to see something that's very telling in his boxing style. Somebody on Twitter thought I was hating on Errol Spence. And I'm like, it's not hating when I'm telling you facts. You know, he's like, you always liking something somebody negative say about Errol. I'm like, no, the guy with Ortiz told him the truth. He told him the truth. Errol's a good fighter. Errol's a good fighter, but he's beatable. He can hurt Crawford. What does that mean? I mean, he couldn't. You talking about a guy who couldn't stop Mikey Garcia? He had Mikey Garcia hurt and couldn't finish him. Why? Because there's no variation to his style. He was just basically using brute force and power, and the fact that he was bigger than Mikey. That was the only thing that was the difference in the fight, really. And he just dogged Mikey out and pounded on him. But he didn't even drop Mikey Garcia. Terrence Crawford is getting people out of there. He ain't going to the cards. He was supposed to watch Mikey. Mikey's a 140-pound guy. My thing is, Errol is a 154-pounder easy. Why are you fighting Mikey Garcia? But I guess it's, for the bag. I can see it, but you guys are giving him credit for that. Let that been anybody else, you've been dogging him. How is Errol the truth? Who is he beating? Who is he beating? Who is he beating? That's the last thing I remember Sean saying before I went to sleep and took my nap. He was saying the RZA is finna battle Primo. Who did I have? And I'm like, I got the RZA. I got the RZA. Am I listening to that? No. I'll watch the replay probably on another day or something, but I'm not going to sit around and watch DJ's battle. I mean, a fight with Sean Porter is not going to look good. It's going to look sloppy. It's going to look messy. But the thing is Errol didn't do what he should have done to control that fight because he didn't possess the skills. See, another boxer who's looking at Errol, a professional boxer, when they look in the ring and they see how Errol's fighting, it's no question of doubt. That's why Floyd took Terrence Crawford, because he knows what he sees when he see him fight. Terrence has a plan A, B, C, and D. He never had to get to C and D. So he can adjust to what he might need to do in the ring, and he does things in such variation of ways and set up certain shots to the point where the opponent don't know what's going on. The opponent has no idea, and those surprises is what causes knockouts. Errol is an attrition fighter. He's not a one-punch knockout guy. He's an attrition guy. He's a garbage pail and bucket guy. So he's coming in there with that garbage pail and that bucket, and he's digging away. No feints, no nothing, no setup, just all punches. I mean, don't get me wrong. When he's in a good rhythm, he can catch a lot of punches, but this is why he get hit so much. And they do a good job of promoting and marketing him because they make fighters better than what they appear to be. Because even though I've given you perfect logic as to why Errol is not better, his footwork is not that good. It could have been all the drinking, but his footwork has never been 100%. He's too flat-footed. He doesn't really know how to get back on the back foot like he should. He cuts off the ring, and he's decent. He's decent with that. He's the only thing that's good about him that I like is his poise. He knows how to stay poised. He don't really panic like I've seen certain fighters do. He's nothing like Hagler. Nothing like Hagler. Hagler was more skilled than you would know. Yeah, it only looked like Hagler was just wild. You probably seen Hagler Hearns and thought, okay, this is how it was. That was the strategy for Hagler. He knew to beat Thomas Hearns, I can't beat him standing on the outside. I got to apply pressure. Mm. Yeah, well, it's time. I mean, Manny's almost 50 years old. It's about time, I mean, he's not the kind of fighter that, is like somebody that's going to outbox somebody. He gets in fights. So No, he's younger than 40. Well, I mean, he's like 40 to the 15th power. Errol Spence versus who? Porter. I had Porter winning the fight, but those are the fights Errol got to win without question. You know, it's tough to fight Sean, but you got to be able to win that without question or doubt. You know, this is why they put the pay-per-views on, not for you to go to the cards and be in a close fight. You know, they're trying to showcase you to say you are the next greatest thing. Well, Terrence Crawford unified all 4 titles at 140 pounds. He fought the number 1 contender, the mandatories. He fought everybody, beat them all. And now that he got the belt, everybody from the PBC is running like roaches with the light on. Like, it's Terrence! Get out of there, run! Get on the PBC bus! That's Crawford! We can't fight you! They running! Will we see Tank versus Ryan Garcia? No. PBC don't want to make fights with nobody but PBC. And that's a problem. I think down the road, if they make fights with Top Rank or the Zone, that'll be great. I think the Crawford fight can be made. You know, Wilder took the challenge and made the Tyson Fury fight. He wanted that fight when PBC really didn't want the fight. They could have avoided Tyson Fury, but he wanted to prove he was better than Tyson Fury, so he took the challenge. So I admire him for that because he didn't have to take that rematch. Holyfield being Hagler, well, one is way too bigger than the other. Devin Haney versus Tank. Devin beats Tank easy. He's too big. Tank can't muscle Devin. That's not gonna happen. Devin might hurt him in the fight and get him out of there. Tank hit like a monster, but I think Devin is big enough to take it. I don't know how Tank's power transcend when him going up in weight, like how far that's gonna take him. So he's gonna have to add another element to his game. But Haney better not underestimate Tank because you never know which Tank gonna show up. Oh, thank you, sir. I'm glad you like it. Best young fighter is David Benavidez. He's one of them. Don't forget to hit the like button, folks. Is Floyd coming back to fight? I don't know. My thing is he could be coming back to fight for an exhibition. I can't see him fighting a real 12-round fight that does nothing for him. You know, when Floyd fights, it's an event. So it might be some 2 celebrities or 2 MMA fighters. We don't right now. Nobody knows nothing about any sports, any combat sports. All that's on the back burner. But right now, he's doing all this training and padding because of He's trying to get the press turning off this NBA young boy and his daughter. He's taking all the pressure off her instead of people talking about Ayana and all her stuff and the stabbing. He changing the press to talk about him. He might fight Conor again. I mean, I don't know who'll be stupid enough to bet Conor again, but hey, this is America. Put in Shakira Stevenson definitely is not better than Haney or Lopez or Ryan. Shakira right now is probably the lowest one on the tier. I think the other three are ahead of him. He fights a little too amateurish. Ryan Garcia, he thinks he's better than what he really is. He fights with his mouth open, his head chin way up in the sky. He boy, nobody ready for me. Nobody ready for me. I'll be like, boy, if this guy get in there with the wrong dude, they are gonna they gonna knock that boy head off his shoulder. He's improving offensively, yes, but defensively, no. Well, his style is about basically counterpunch. I hit you because I'm so quick. Then you try to come in. Professional, real smart fighters, that's not going to work with them. They're going to set a trap for you. You think that left hook going to be there because of your speed, and the timing is going to be off. They're going to throw a feint, throw your timing off, and catch you with a left hook. It's going to be boom. And he's going to go, whoa, because he's going to be throwing his at the same time. That's going to be his knockout. They're going to be like, Garcia was throwing a hook, and oh! And he going down. Even though we've been fighting these 1-round fights, I see the openings. And I'm like, man, if anybody fight, that's why Devin Haney wants to fight him so bad. Devin Haney knows what's going to happen. He could just throw the hand up. Feint. He could twist the glove. He can twist the glove, hold him there, throw a feint up, boom, and close. Soon as he see that reaction where Garcia's going for that hook, he gonna go for his hook. The right hand will always be there to check it, and his left is gonna be swinging for the sky, and his chin's gonna be there to open the door and greet him. Hi, how you doing? Can I take your coat? Crack! Oh, that chin gonna be there to meet and greet him. Danny has better boxing than Ryan Garcia, in my opinion. Danny Garcia is way more seasoned, way more poised. Caleb Plant, liked the guy, he worked hard, had a rough life. They call him the white Floyd Mayweather. The other white Floyd Mayweather. Well, he's gonna get buried. Oh, they gonna plant him all right. They gonna plant him right in the ground. Put some dirt on him, patch it up, and say, good night. He's done. Done. Will we ever see Tony Ferguson versus Khabib? Remember I said I wouldn't talk about that fight for one reason? And you know what the one reason was? I said I'd never talk about that fight because this fight has been scheduled about 3-4 times and they can never get in the ring. I said only when they ring the bell and then both are in the ring will I ever believe that fight's taking place. Now, granted, this ain't had nothing to do with neither fighter. He's like, yep, 5 times. 5 times. They've tried to make this fight. Everybody says Khabib is scared of him too. Like, he's scared of Tony Ferguson. It was. It's been terrible. But here's the thing. And I want people to understand this, right? It's better that they don't fight. I don't want them to fight each other. I don't want them to fight each other at all. That's Dana's plan. Letting them beat each other up. No. Let Conor McGregor get in there and fight Tony Ferguson. He earned it. $4 years ago. Was it been 4 years ago? Might have been 4. I said the best fighters in that division was Khabib and Tony Ferguson. Conor McGregor, I think this is before he lost, and I predicted his loss. I said Conor McGregor is going to lose his very next fight, and he ended up losing to Nate Diaz. But he wasn't even scheduled to fight Nate. He was scheduled to fight another guy, and that guy got injured. And I picked that guy was going to beat him. I called it the Mayweather curse because he was talking about Mayweather. I'm like, every time somebody talk about Mayweather, they lose. So he's going to lose. The video's on YouTube. And sure enough, he lost to Nate Diaz. And my buddy who was going for Conor, he all sad. I'm sitting there laughing my butt off. Because it's the same thing that happens to a lot of fighters when they go up in weight and they realize that this guy is not what he said he is. And I told people, I'm like, he's a front runner. When he runs out of gas, that's his ass. And that's what happened. Conor McGregor can't beat Khabib. He can't beat Tony Ferguson. Of course he's scared. Look, Conor McGregor knows what he is now. He knows he's not. Believe me, all that farce is out of his system. I'm the baddest man. Now he's just selling a fight. when he throws those tantrums and those rants, he knows I'm not that damn good. He knows. It's no surprise. Now he's becoming a guy that everybody can make a lot of money off of, but they know they can beat him. When he fought Khabib, he knew he couldn't beat Khabib. And after the first round, he knew he lost the fight. There's nothing he could do. Oh, Cowboy, dude. Cowboy has been done for, he's like at the Chuck Liddell stage in the later parts of his career. This is not the same Cowboy you've seen years ago. You know, he was just, glad to be in a big event, with Conor McGregor. He couldn't even react. That fight was just a dog and pony show to get people back on the bandwagon. And sure enough, we got all the white folks back on the Conor train. Conor's back. Yeah, let's get him. Get Khabib back in there. All them guys who sat out there ringside is like, please bring him on. Brother beat him. Everybody out there, Moscow, everybody's better than Conor McGregor. Let's get that assessed right now. Conor McGregor has no chance with any of those guys. Not a chance. That would have been a great fight. But he would have stopped Justin Gaethje. He would have won by strikes. He'd have knocked him out. See, that's the thing. Justin takes too many chances. He does too many leaps. He takes too many back spins. Tony is balanced. He got a ground game, up, top, down. A fight with him and Khabib is going to be a nightmare because he can deal with Khabib on the ground. I don't know if Khabib could deal with Tony striking on the stand-up game. Khabib don't throw leg kicks. Tydras Robinson, how is this hating on Conor McGregor? Everything we told you is factual. Let us know when we told a lie about Conor McGregor. Well, I'm interested to see that. He's going to have to get Tony to the ground, and he's going to have to control him early on the ground. It's going to be really difficult. For Khabib, that is a tough matchup. Yeah, Conor's become the De La Hoya at the last part of his career. Once a fighter knows, he's been beaten it before and he knows there's a chance he could lose, they're past trying to win the fight. They in there for other reasons now. Now they want to go 12. They just don't want to get hurt. It's a whole different ball game now. They hope to have one coming in the ring, but now it's like, well, I'm going to get a good check out of it. Just hope I don't get knocked out. What you mean, who I got? You see this W? Answer your question. Of course, they gonna tell the dumb UFC to stand down. That's because Dana White's an idiot. Whenever you see that just happen, a common sense button goes in our head immediately and say, how could you have the fight? No matter where you have it, it's too much risk than reward. One, all the restaurants are closed, idiot. So ESPN Plus is going to lose a lot because now you want banking people at home to pay for it. That's not how you made your money. You made your money through bars and restaurants like Buffalo Wild Wing and all them. They have all those drunk white people show up just to watch the fight and buy beer. So they say, we'll buy your pay-per-view because that keeps these idiots in here for 3-4 hours buying beer and food. So that's what we want. So they keep them in there. Now all the places are closed. Why the hell would you think of having an event? That's what I'm saying. Dana White, them steroids must have ate a lot of his brain. Because I'm like, how does this even make sense to him? That this is ideal to do, even if they could do the event. You're going to lose your shirt completely. This guy's going to be, well, I think we can still have the card. People are going to be at home now. They're going to want to watch UFC. No, they're not. They're at home with their wives and kids. People who watch UFCs don't get with their wives and kids and sit around and watch UFC. That's not how it works. The people who watch UFC, they are with their buddies somewhere in a bar away from their wives. They're not in. And the very few wives that are watching it are normally doing it at another gathering of people, or they're having people over at the house. They're there for the entertainment of the people there. They're there for the main event. They can care less about who's fighting and what's happening. They got their girlfriends over. They got someone to fraternize with. That's what they're there for. They're trying to keep people in their homes separated. They're not trying to put something on to gather everybody together. But Dana White, we're going to be back in operation before everybody. And we're going to have events every week. The UFC, we're coming back. ESPN said, oh, really? Have you ever thought about contacting us? Do you realize the bars pay for the subscription through us? And if they're all closed, we're going to just depend on the people to come out and just do it on their own. They'll say, screw that. They'll wait till the next day to see it tomorrow. Yeah, that's dumb. If anybody thought he's a better promoter than Don King, Don made himself infamous. All that event would have done was created the most lawsuits for a sporting event has created. One person comes down with it. Next thing you know, such and such had the virus. Now everybody's got to get tested who fought on the UFC card. Now these people are testing here and they got it. One person get it, he's done. One lawsuit comes. Multi-million-dollar family sues because the UFC and Dana White risked people's lives. That's all you need. Boxing is dead. What was it? You probably a casual fan. Ain't nothing wrong with boxing. Except for the same problem of people not fighting each other because they trying to keep all the money in-house. We back to that ridiculousness. You mean you don't watch it? You one of those people who think because you don't do something, everybody else do the same thing. Not true at all. Boxing gets watched a lot. That's why they pay. Now, the most of you casual people get involved when it's all said and done, when it's a big fight that you don't know what's going on, but you're watching it anyway. Danny is going to upset Errol. I don't see that happening, but it's possible. But see, that's the thing. Beforehand, this fight should have never taken place. Why would he be fighting Danny Garcia for? I like Danny Garcia, but no way, shape, or form should he be fighting Danny. You know, I mean, now since the accident as a tune-up, okay, fighting Danny as a tune-up, okay, but before that, he was already scheduled to fight Danny Garcia. It's like, what? How does Danny Garcia get the shot? That don't make any sense. Pretty much. It's not a test for Errol. Danny Garcia is a 140-pound fighter, another small fighter fighting at welterweight, feeding him to another big welterweight in Errol Spence. A flat-footed fighter, stylistically, just to make Errol look good. He won't stop Danny, but still, he'll win a decision. It's the guy Danny Garcia is 2-2 in his last 4 fights, and he gets a fight for the world title and the best welterweight in the world, right? And the PBC, quote unquote, Errol Spence, right? But yet y'all mad at Terrence Crawford when Terrence been fighting killers. Tell Errol to fight Mean Machine, and let's see what happened there. You think he would have fought Mean Machine? No. And I don't mean Errol. It's Errol's team, meaning that PBC. They ain't not gonna let anything near Errol that could cause him to get beat. They want him to be like Sugar Ray Leonard. Andrade beats Charlo easy. He hits harder. He's a slicker boxer. He has more moves. They have no chance. They're gonna need 3 water bottles in the corner. They still gonna lose. You know, I hope for health wise he's good enough to go. You know, because Terrence will never get his credit anyway after he beat him. But what is Terrence gonna do? Lose? Like I said, man, the PBC fighters are all eye candy. That's it. It look nice, it look pretty, and you get it home, and it don't perform. Put it up against something real, you're gonna be like, man, a cubic zirconia look real good when you first get it and polish it up. Put some baby oil on that thing. That cubic zirconia be shining. Then you put it up next to a real diamond, and you go, damn, this is a cubic zirconia, huh? Then you know that's a cubic zirconia. Why don't Terrence Crawford fight Danny or Sean? Okay, he would have no problem fighting Sean, and that fight would have been made had Sean got his hand properly raised. See, the problem is he didn't get his hand properly raised. They raised Errol hand. So why would Terrence Crawford, who's the best pound for pound fighter in the world, fight the guy who lost? Why don't the guy who won fight him? Have I spoken with Al Heyman? No. I've seen Al Heyman. Most we've ever said to each other is, "Hey, how you doing, Al?" I don't get caught up in the belts. Belts mean nothing to me at this point because everybody now they'll create a belt just for just so the licensing fee. You know, they they gotten smart when before they'll just be like, well, you know what? Because they realized the belts didn't mean nothing. The fight is always what meant something. So if you didn't want to put your belt on the line, so be it. So people were foregoing the licensing fees. That's not what you want if you're a commissioner. So you're gonna make any belt you can. The diamond belt. He's the diamond franchise champion. So we're gonna just make him a champion for life until somebody can beat him. But my thing is, how did these guys jump ahead of Canelo? If Terrence is 1A, Canelo is 1B. I will put it that way. He's 1B. 1A, 1B. Well, here's the thing. Ugas beat Sean Porter and didn't get his hand raised. What about him? And this is what I have a problem with the UFC. I mean, not the UFC, the PBC. And their decisions have been horrible. And they don't want to disrupt the money pot that they're trying to create, but they're screwing guys' careers up. What's wrong, Mr. Bronx 24? Why do we need to stop? This man said Ugas never beat Sean. Oh my God. You're disqualified from conversation. You are disqualified from conversation. He did a better job on Sean Porter than Errol Spence did. And he dropped him with a punch, and they didn't even call it a knockdown. That's how bad it was. It was a terrible fight. The only thing worse was the Dervinchenko versus Triple G decision. Triple G was so beat up in that fight. I mean, he lost so many rounds, it wasn't even close. Dervinchenko, who's from his country, did him in. Well, he won the three major boxing bodies. He wasn't trying to win all the belts in the division. What's a belt to Floyd Mayweather? He's the champion no matter what. Until you beat him, you haven't done nothing. He's always in a controversial fight. I'm having a hard time understanding that. What was controversial? See, when people talk without studying anything, it's just crazy to me. When Canelo tested positive for that steroid thing, and he's the pay-per-view star going into his second fight with Triple G. They tested him to when they did the test, they did the A sample, B sample, whatever. When they found out what it was because he was in Mexico and he had ate that meat, and the meat was laced with it. And they can tell from somebody who's doping from someone who got it from eating food and from indigestion from eating food. the traces are small. The traces showed and dictated the fact that this person got it from eating. They've never tested positive again. They've been eating, and now his camp is now not in Mexico, it's in San Diego. So now he's training only in San Diego so that he doesn't have to have this problem anymore. And it hadn't happened again. If Corona can get in here, buddy, it's doing a good job. I drink Fiji water. I got the radon test. I got microban. I got Lysol. I got it all. I got the glove, the mask, the shield. I got it all, baby. We ready to roll. I know the Watsons. Yeah, I know the Watsons. Tim Smith, I don't really know that well. My Twitter picture was the Watson brothers, Marcus and his dad. That was my Twitter picture for like 10 years. Easily 10 years. Well, I had one Twitter picture I put up, and that was it. It was me and the Watsons. How can one go to be a boxing manager? Go up to a fighter and say, "Hey, I want to manage you." Draw up some paperwork. Say, "Look, this is my client. I want to be his manager." There you go. It's that quick, that easy, that meticulously done. But why would anybody want to be a boxing manager right now? Now that's the thankless job you don't want. My gosh, that is a thankless job and a half. A lot of stress, a lot of calls, a lot of things not going right. I was doing that, helping somebody out, man, and there's so much red tape, and you think things are going to get done, and people got dates and timetables, and things take months to get done, and you're like, man, months, like it's crazy, real crazy. Will Andre Ward fight again? Probably not. He probably fight one fight at heavyweight. He want to fight for the heavyweight title, and he wanted to fight Anthony Joshua because Josh is beatable, very beatable. Well, Canelo sent the offer to Boo Boo Andrade. Him and his team turned it down, and it was the most money they've ever received. Him and his team turned it down. Uh, Charlo was offered money by Canelo. Him and his team turned it down. So well, I don't even know what more I can say there. Mike Tyson, if he was to fight Tyson Fury, how would it work? Um, mm, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. That is a very difficult fight. Tyson's speed and timing, I think he knocks out Fury, or at least win by decision. He'll score some knockdowns. Tyson know how to fight big men all his life. You know, that's all he fought was big guys. People that gave him problems was normally people his size. Like Holyfield was kind of his size and gave him a little problem. Buster Douglas was his size. Tall guys didn't really give him too many problems. And I mean, this was when he was Mike, you know, because he can get in, get to your body. He could throw shots from the body, shoot punches straight up. Big guys was no problem for him. They had a hard time trying to gauge his speed coming in because he moved in so quick. Yeah, well, when you go down these avenues, you will see that many of the artists that's in the game at that time was definitely somebody that was they were more schooled. That mean anything to anybody, but they were more schooled in the professions. You know, they were more like, okay, this guy's more taught. It's not a lot of teachers left. Guys can train you on mat, to how to do the pads, physical, but nobody can teach you the game. The teachers are gone. No, Frank Bruno wasn't his jaw. It was his heart, and mentally he didn't have it. He was scared of Mike Tyson. Canelo has faced the toughest competition of any fighter in the past 10 years. You look at Canelo's resume and look at who he's fought, nobody can touch it. The greatest fighter of all time. That's hard to say because guys fighting in different divisions, you know, it's really hard to say. That is a very difficult question. Oh, well, thanks a lot, Philly Boxing Worldwide. Of course, they forgot about it because that's what PBC wants you to do. But they're gonna talk about the Tyson Fury glove thing all damn day long. Some that don't mean nothing. The first fight been over with. Second fight, there was no glove controversy. It was a getting his butt whooped consistently controversy. Canelo resume is smoke and mirrors. Are you incredibly dumb? The man just fought Danny Jacobs. He fought Triple G twice. Twice. Just fought Kovalev. I mean, just off that resume alone, he already up there. He fought Floyd. He fought Arislan D. Lara. He fought Austin Trout when he was undefeated. He fought Cotto when Cotto was the middleweight champion of the world after destroying Sergio Martinez. He was the new Cotto again. He beat him. I mean, what more do they want? I had Laura winning by a round. I had winning one, like I think what 115, 113 on my scorecard. But the fight could have went either way. Laura should have known that you can't let Canelo into that fight. Well, Khan, that was a money fight. The man fought James Kirkland. I mean, the Mitch Green fight lasted for about 30 minutes. That was like a title fight. I've never seen nobody get beat up as much as Mitch and kept coming back to get beat up some more. And Tyson ended up breaking his hand on his face. Yep, so let me get to it. We got videos to make. I'm out. Thank you guys for signing up. Thank you guys who've been hitting up the Patreon. I told you we wasn't gonna play with y'all no more. The training wheels was off. Y'all been getting hit with nothing but heat. 10 days in. All 10 days in April, y'all been getting hit, 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 hit. So for anybody who don't see the people that normally be with me, I put that on the Patreon too. You get to see the guys. You get to see some of the guys. So those who talking about harm and Zeno, you'll be seeing the guys. Not me. So go to Patreon and take a look at some of the people that'll be in your home. Eating dinner with you. So you get your mind right.